Here's what Donald Trump had to say about you, and I want to get your reaction to this. He said at the National Prayer Breakfast.
I hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
The discussion begins with Donald Trump reflecting on his time hosting The Apprentice, describing it as a period of tremendous success and explaining that his decision to run for president required him to leave the show. He notes that Arnold Schwarzenegger was brought in as his replacement, emphasizing that the ratings declined afterward and framing the transition as unsuccessful. This moment sets the stage for a broader contrast between two public figures who, on the surface, share similarities in their paths through business, entertainment, and politics, but differ significantly in how they interpret leadership and responsibility. Arnold Schwarzenegger, known for his achievements in bodybuilding, Hollywood, and later as governor, responded to Trump in a way that drew widespread attention. Rather than offering a light or dismissive reply, he directly criticized Trump's conduct.
So it became kind of alarming to me in the sense of, Arnold, you don't have to just sit there and watch this whole thing. I think that you can get involved and use your platform to kind of speak out about that and how wrong it is because of my history.
Particularly referencing a press conference with Vladimir Putin, which he described as embarrassing. He questioned Trump's posture and tone during that moment, suggesting it reflected a lack of strength expected from a president. This criticism was not framed as entertainment, but as a serious concern about leadership and national representation. Schwarzenegger's perspective is shaped by his personal history. Growing up in post-war Europe, he witnessed the consequences of political instability and propaganda, experiences that continue to influence how he views modern political developments.
And it's very funny, and it gave me an opportunity to then go and shout back and say, that the show didn't do well because, 1/3 of the audience left because they boycott the show because you're the executive producer, Donald Trump. If you would have just not opened up your mouth.
When addressing Trump's actions, he emphasized the dangers of misinformation and the potential consequences of undermining democratic processes. He specifically pointed to efforts to challenge election results, describing them as deeply troubling and warning about the long-term effects such actions can have on public trust. While both Trump and Schwarzenegger built their public identities on confidence and larger-than-life personas, Schwarzenegger highlighted what he sees as a key difference in philosophy. He focused on accountability, arguing that leaders should take responsibility for outcomes rather than shifting blame. Drawing from his experiences in sports and business, he explained that success requires discipline, planning, and ownership of results, not deflection. In his view, Trump's tendency to blame external forces reflects a broader issue in leadership style. The conversation also touches on Schwarzenegger's experience with The Apprentice, where he acknowledged challenges related to audience perception and political associations. He suggested that external controversies influenced the show's performance, reinforcing how political identity can impact entertainment platforms. Despite these challenges, he maintained that the experience was separate from the larger political debate he was addressing. Schwarzenegger's critique extends beyond individual moments to a broader concern about division within the United States. He argues that rhetoric which frames political opponents as enemies contributes to a fragmented society, making cooperation more difficult. According to him, effective governance depends on the ability to find common ground and address shared challenges rather than amplifying conflict for short-term advantage. He views unity as a strength that enhances national resilience, particularly during times of crisis.
President Trump, I just saw your press conference with President Putin, and it was embarrassing. I mean, you stood there like a little wet noodle, like a little fanboy. I mean, I was asking myself, when are you going to ask him for an autograph or for a selfie or something like that?
Another key aspect of his argument centers on truth and the role it plays in a functioning democracy. Schwarzenegger stresses that facts should not be treated as partisan tools, warning that repeated challenges to verified information can erode the foundation of democratic institutions. He believes that once trust in elections, media, and governance begins to decline, rebuilding that trust becomes increasingly difficult.